16 people over 10,000 issue paid this week. Woohoo!
Morning, Andy, and everybody.
Morning. Hey, Jason. That's 16 people. Issue paid 10 grand this week. A week. Going for 100, baby.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Activity Call Live. Filmed in beautiful Treasure Island, Florida. Now, let's hear from our host, our president and CEO, Andy Albright.
What's up, team? We got some good people on here. Y'all gonna need to unmute Terry. To you. Hey, crazy good stuff happening. Kate and Mike Morisi, qualified agency managers. Brandon and Haley Manley, qualified agency managers. Marvin and Rachel Osuna, qualified agency managers. Jeremico Edwards, qualified agency manager, and Evan Patzer, qualified agency manager. 5 new qualified agency managers. Woo-hoo! That's right.
Woo-hoo! That's right.
Man, we got some great stuff happening. The other crazy thing that we had is 16 people issued over $10,000 this week in production. We had Katrina Gustin knocked out 40,000. Let me repeat, 8 apps for 40,000. Mark Hutchinson, 14 apps for 23,000. Megan Wood, 45 apps for 20,000 this week. Goodness gracious. Joseph 2 come in with 11 apps, 16 grand. Brandon Beal, 4 apps, 14 grand. Jared Gonzalez, 16 apps for 13,000. James Hattie done come in there, 13,000. Jonathan Megan, 9 apps issue paid. Jonathan and Megan Yakey, 9 apps, 12 grand. Kyle Cater, 4 apps, 12 grand. Jason Molina, Paul Roberts keeps talking about him. Jason Molina, 12 grand, 4 apps. Tim Long, 8 apps for 11,000 issued. Terry and Tia, 12 apps in a week issued, 11 grand. William Bott, you guy on Kelly Haney's team on the 10,000 mark. 10,000 issue paid in a week, 2 apps. Stephanie Rodriguez, way to go, Stephanie, big #1 Foresters producer in the country right now. 7 apps, 9 apps for 10 grand. Maddie Gonzalez, new producer on Jason and Tawny's team, 7 apps for 10 grand. And Paul Epstein, who we need you, Paul, 10 grand, 3 apps this week. That's strong stuff. Annuity production, Katrina Gustin got 2 apps issued for 200,000. Hutchinson got one for 83. Swindell done got one in and issued for 80. Evan Fawcett got 2 in for 80 grand. James and Jane got 2 issued for 54 grand. Annette Hare, way to go, Annette, 50 grand. Marcus Richardson, 1 issue paid for 29 grand. Ryan Moore on James and Jane's team got 1 issue for 28. Amaka Orizo, way to go, Amaka, 20 grand issued. Amy and Joe Black got 1 for 20 grand. Marilyn Martin Ward and Linda Goebel got issued paid annuities. Let's scroll down to the submitted. We also had 16 people submit over 10 grand. Check them out. Abel Verastegi, George Andershaw, Myron Kimahara, way to go, Myron. Paula Sam Menachino, Billy Crane, Jason Molina submitted 12. Did you see Jason was on the last one? He's on this one. Chris Norris up in BAM submitted 12 grand. Kyle Cater, another 13 grand submitted. Joe Walker, 13. Robert Wilson, Elena Imadobi, that's right. Elena Imadobi, Olga and Jason, you see them on here, 16 apps submitted for 15 grand. Ben Gillingham come in, 16 grand submitted. Chris and Courtney Long submitted 18. Jeremy Patton, 19. And Kyle and Janina Wilson, 29,000 submitted this week. Top recruiters, Mr. Riddle continues to absolutely dominate. 8, go to 8. Jason and Olga Mathis, 6. Terry and Tia Edwards, 6. Paul Roberts, 6. Avian, 5. John Thorman, 4. Jane Bazan, 3. Diane Lampy, 3. Georgia Penny Wilson, 3. Stephen and Holly Davies, 3. And my staff, my ABTF, put in 3. Let it go, Terry and Tia. We got good stuff happening across the country. I had something else I wanted to show you month today, or at least tell you about, is Chris Shepard sent me some numbers that were kind of crazy too. Huge payout from Foresters, the biggest one I've seen. I think it's the biggest weekly dump of cash that I've ever seen coming into the ARC from Foresters. Huge week. Chris Shepard, get this. This is what I'll tell you. Megan Wood was not a happy camper. She did not win the month. Mark Hutchinson won the month with 77,000 issue paid. Megan issued 74,627 or 125 apps. I mean, you want to talk about clickety click. She was mad. Not because she didn't come in #1. She's mad because she didn't issue 100 grand in August. But she says September, it's a done deal. Hutchinson says 100,000 in September. So Hutchinson and Megan going for 100. Jonathan Megan had to be one of their biggest months ever. 52,000 issue paid. Jane Hill, 49,000 issue paid. God. Bear, 48 grand. Patrick Bishaw come out with 48,000. Billy Crane, 47,000. 67 apps, Billy Crane. Katrina Gustin, 40 grand with 8. Stephanie Rodriguez, 35 applications. This is her second year she's been with us, and now here she is, just top of the rung. Mia Fennell got 45 issued for 32,000, and Kelly Haney, 31,000. So that's 12 people more than that. Justin and Sydney got 30,000. Evan Patzer, 30,000. 14 people over 30,000 personal production, issue paid, in the bank, paid for. This crazy good stuff happening. I'm so excited for y'all. We're looking for who's going to be the next partner with integrity. So much good stuff happening. The recruiting's going through the roof. Yes, sir. Jonathan Yagi, I see you. 70-some thousand. Sean Boone. Can y'all see Sean Boone? Yeah. Okay. There he is. What's up, Wolfpack? I see you repping. I got the Red Alliance. You got the Red Wolfpack. I just got a text from our Brian Cisco wanting to know if I was going to the Wolfpack to the Wake Forest game in 2 weeks. I wouldn't consider it until he said, "Am I going?" That means he might have me a seat coming up in our Wake Forest. I'll be close to the hospital in case I get the COVID. Oh, boys and girls, crazy stuff happening. Here's what I want to talk about. It's one thing for you to do it, and for a lot of people, they have the hardest time right here between their ears, in the head. A lot of people, once they get themselves in the head, how do you get somebody else's head straightened out? How do you get copied? How do you get duplicated? What questions do you ask to get copied? What do you say to people to get duplicated? How do, I tell like Janina Wilson, like, how do we find one more person? Here's the way you do it, Gene. I'm going to give you 3 questions and talk about it. How do you get people to duplicate? How do you find them? Jason Mathis, you ask me sometimes, how do you get somebody to do it? These are 3 things that'll get them going, get them stirred up and get them going. First of all, let's do this. Olga, would you or Jason unmute? And you guys got some crazy stuff going on. Your numbers, you say you got 20 appointments today. Is it today and tomorrow? You got 20 appointments, Olga? Is that what you said?
Both days, yeah.
Tell these guys some of the numbers y'all are hitting.
The number that I'm hitting?
What's going on? Yeah, the people that are, you were telling me a lot of stuff earlier about y'all's team is just growing. You find the people. Gary Philstein knocked out 19,000.
Woohoo! Fired up. Thank you, Andy, for inviting us to this call. We are fired up. We talking every day to so many people. We have a new girl, Marnie, and she's in Tampa, and she's working. She already issued like 5,000 last
What's
month.
her name?
Marnie Frank. She's in Tampa.
How you spell her first name?
Marni. Marnie.
Marnie. Okay.
Yeah.
We're looking for her.
And we have Janet here in Fort Lauderdale that she started to sell. She should pay too, 5,000. She's she
and that's Janeth. Janet.
Correct, Janet. Right. Janet. She started to recruit. She has a brand new crazy Brazilian, and now the husband is a big top producer in timeshare. Now he's in class with us, and he's fired up. We had these people yesterday in training.
Did you say crazy Brazilian? I just want to make sure that we're
accepting. Crazy Brazilian girl. Yeah. Lady.
Okay.
Gustavo Perez.
Yes. I guess you can say that.
We got Gustavo. We've got Brian up in Virginia. And we're finding them and getting them started. We got Jessica, a young girl, just got married. Got a 10-month-old baby, another young kid who just got married, a 1.5-year-old in Tampa. And hopefully we're going to be up there meeting them soon. Just a lot of good people coming on.
Okay, so I am encouraged. The numbers are very encouraging. Also, I hear that today the ARC, Caitlin Record sent me, she said we had massive deposits last night into the ARC that should be distributed to all agents today, Friday. So that number, that big number, it's got to start out big for yours to get big. And I understand it was big. And
right.
Paul Roberts was telling me about his deposits this last 2 weeks. I don't know if I would want him to share, but I don't know if he'll share his numbers for the last couple of weeks. But let me say this, duplication. It don't matter what works, it matters what gets copied. What matters the most is what do people hear And what do? This is something we've said, a simple thing for a long time. Your job, Sean, is to get a lot of people doing simple stuff over and over again. Think about that. That's what Coach Dorn's job is, right? All we want you to do is when that man's foot moves this way, you move this way. It's just simple. Getting people to do simple stuff, could call it boring, could call it easy, could call it easy not to do, but your job is to get a lot of people, Terry and Tia, a lot of people doing simple stuff over and over again. Not just one person doing simple stuff over and over again. I tell, man, I got, Uber drivers. I got a driver. He used to be an Uber driver. I was like, you're my driver now. You're not the Uber driver. I think he still does it when I ain't around, but he drives me. I told him, he said, talk to me about money. I said, bro, he's from Canada by way of London. I said, bro, most people can't do boring stuff. They want to be entertained. They can't do boring stuff like dial. It's too simple. They go to sleep. I talk to people. Y'all do, Sean, do you try to do some entertainment? Y'all play video games while you make dials or play music, have pictures up. Like people do crazy stuff to try to stay entertained while they're doing simple stuff over and over again. My son, he play crazy music when he's doing that CrossFit stuff. I'll be like, I'll be thinking about making money. So I'm bored out of my mind lifting something up and setting it down. Lift it up, set it down. Lift it up, set it down. Lift it up, set it down. I'll be like, and I ain't making no money neither. Simple stuff over and over again. You get you to do it, and you get somebody else to do it, and you get a bunch of people. That's called duplication. It's simple. That's why when I saw 20 years ago, when I saw mortgage protection, mortgage protection, it was simple. You get this insurance, fool, and one of y'all get sick and die, you ain't gonna lose your house. What the heck? How complicated is that? A dead dumb caveman could sell that. Man just bought a house, went in debt, got the bank breathing down his neck, looking around, people getting cancer, people falling down, having a heart attack, obese, diabetes, done got the sugar, all kinds of stuff happening to people. And then got that loan, and you trying to get them to get mortgage protection, and you can't talk them into it. It's simple. So I did a few, and I was like, oh, that dumb caveman could do this. I'm going to call my brother. So I called Alan. He closed a few deals, but he got bored. I said, man. But Alan gave me Wes. Wes, he wasn't too much on board himself. But eventually that led to Fitz. And Fitz is like, I can do this. It's boring, but I can do it. Finding people. And then Fitz found somebody who found somebody who found somebody who found Diane Lampy. But we're all looking for the people. It's simple. I was against final expense because I thought the premium was going to be so much less because the average mortgage protection was $900 a month or $900 a year. That dumb. Final expense. The issue rate is twice as high as the mortgage protection. Them dadgum things out. It seems like them final expense companies, CFG, Forrester's final expense plan right there, take anybody. You don't even have to get somebody healthy. You get somebody sick and they take it. The problem is you got to get people to call up, book 40 appointments, then go to the 40 appointments. Hello. It's simple stuff, right? But getting a person in their head, getting in their emotions, and getting them to do it. That's the trick. And I've been able to do it. I always tell people, I look around, see these people? Somehow I figured out. People say, well, I lose people. I go, you think I ain't lost people? What's wrong with your head? It's getting them faster. People gonna get a job. The wife gonna tell them, you ain't going out there no more. I know you ain't no number running around anyhow. You gonna stay in here. You ain't out there selling insurance. That mess them up. Right? I'll be like, get going, man. Why you gotta run around? People just get to pick up some checks. I was tempted. Bunch of people doing simple stuff over and over again. One man, his wife makes him come home every night. He can't even travel. He's not allowed to. You come back here. I said, that's okay. As long as he can go a long ways, write a bunch of business, come back. It'd be better if he'd go somewhere about 4 days, write about 30, 40,000, come back. He said, no. I said, well, I can't argue with that kind of logic. So you want them to be perfect right in line, Terry, but you get them to do what they can do, or what they will do, or what their wife will let them do. That's why sometimes when I when Olga wants to do something, what's Jason gonna say? You can't do it. She'll be like, ay. Well, it's over with then. Right? Am I right? Am I wrong? Or am I right about that, Jason? That's what I'm thinking. She'll be like, ay. She goes telling Jason. Jane go telling Andy. We'll be like, huh. Simple stuff, people. Oh, how do you get it to happen? Okay. Sean Boone, what was you? You was a defensive back for NC State, right? Were you ever in charge of teaching some of them youngins to do something simple over and over again?
Yes, a lot.
Did you ever ask them, say, you ain't never heard this before? You've been a defensive back for high school, midgets, pee-wees, little league, and you've never heard. It seemed like sometimes they just did not know. And I'm not talking about because they wasn't tall enough, wasn't big enough, just didn't grasp the simplicity.
Yeah, of just backpedaling.
What it's called?
Backpedaling.
Like pick one foot up, put backwards, and then pick another foot up, go backwards.
Yep.
What would they do instead? How you jack that up?
Sometimes, it's a technique. You can't be on your heels, because if you're on your heels, you'll fall backwards. So you got to be on the balls of your feet and scrape the grass.
Ain't complicated.
Nah, not really.
Not really. We're doing it with 50,000 people hollering at you. That's different.
A lot different.
Being in the quiet of the field with nobody else, and coach ain't screaming at you. That's different too. It's two different places. When people screaming at you, 50,000, it's different. And when you're by yourself, it's different. You can't always just have you and your wife and two people. You're gonna have to make phone calls by yourself. You're gonna have to make some while people screaming. People dying. People got cancer. People got COVID. It's just in the midst of distractions. Can you do this? This is the trick. That's what I tell my boy David, the driver. It's like it's just, and my son-in-law. I tell him all the time. It ain't complicated. It's staying focused and getting people to do the same thing. Okay, so Paul Roberts, you want to open up? I know he's out there on my deck on the beach. He don't want to get on the call. He's in my office. I'm in my other office.
Yes, I am. This is a good office.
You had some big checks come in the last couple of weeks.
I did. We had not issue paid. We had a check of $27,000 deposited last Friday, and this Friday $21,000. So we're definitely headed in the right direction, doing that boring stuff for many, many years. It's funny, Andy. This morning when I was running on this beautiful beach of yours, I was thinking about. It wasn't that long ago. It didn't feel like that long ago. I took my wife and two kids because our car had gotten repoed. We went to one of those horrible places where you purchase a car and you ain't got no credit. And this place was disgusting, Andy. It was gross. I was embarrassed. I wanted to throw up that I had my kids and my wife in this dump to purchase a car. I don't know why that memory hit me this morning, but it did. And I thought to myself, man, it wasn't that long ago that I was begging someone to just sell me a car at stupid percentage rates. And here I am now. I'm like, I'm not worthy. I'm just running this beach, having a blast with you and Adam and talking about dreams, talking about buying stuff. And before I, didn't have a 300 FICO score, credit score to purchase anything. And now we're talking about just, it's wild, Andy, but you're right. You got to teach people how to do that boring stuff. And I think one of the best ways to it is remind them how great it's going to be. I mean, I'm sitting here beside Adam Katz, Andy, and the story I remember when I was broke, sitting in junky places like that, dude, is I remember Adam Katz talking about that daggum swing set and how he then turned around and bought a $7,000 swing set with cash. And it was those stories that kept me in that boring crap of dialing. Because I was like, man, if that dude can buy a swing set for $7,000, surely my life can get turned around and You just got to keep up with that boring stuff, man. And when you do, life will change. Life will change. And it changed. I mean, I noticed it this morning, sitting here running down this beach thinking, man, it wasn't that long ago. I was sitting in a place, I was embarrassed, dude, to take my kids there. And I wanted to throw up. And now I take my family to such different places.
Hey, I'm glad you made me think of something. Month to date, your base is number 3 in the country.
Oh, cool.
Our staff, which is three or four people recruiting.
Yeah.
Riddle is number 1 in the country, but y'all are number 3 with 21 people. And I'm thinking that a lot of that is by your daughter. I don't know if you have more than one recruiter. I don't know if you do a lot of recruiting, but for the number you fill us in if I'm right about that, to get 21 in a month and starting to get good people. If you don't mind talking about her hanging up on people going, this ain't for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
100%. 100% of it's Tori. She's the recruiter we have. She has definitely elevated her game in terms of, at first she was just bringing people in that could breathe, and now she's bringing superstars. And one of them you called out on the call today, Myron. The caliber of people she's bringing in it's elevating. It's getting better and better, and she's getting that attitude. She'll tell people straight up, man, I don't think this is for you. And she used to say, I don't think this is for you. Have a good day. Goodbye. Now she's like, man, I got to hurry up, make another stupid, boring dial. So she's like, this ain't for you. Hangs up, makes another dial. And no kidding, Andy. She used to come tell me, I hung up on somebody. She'd be all fired up about it. I said, hurry up and get on the phone, because that new person you'll call will know that you hung up on someone, and they'll treat you with respect. And so now she don't come to my office to tell me, hey, I hung up on someone. She tells me later, a week later, 2 weeks later, she's just doing it. And I'm hearing her do it. And
how old is your daughter?
She's 25.
25 years old.
Yeah.
And you tell me she's putting in some hours doing it?
She is a working machine. It went from me telling her to show up and put in activity and do that boring crap. It took me from I was just so mad and angry at her, like, girl, you got to work. Quit trying to figure out the skill and this and that and who's doing that and who's doing this. And she finally put all that crap out to the side and put in stupid hours. And now, no kidding, it went from me telling her to get her butt to work to now I'm saying, hey, girl, it's 11:35 p.m. at night. You can go on home now. It's okay. It's good. And she's working Saturdays. I do not pay her for Saturdays. She shows up Saturdays on her own. I've never told her to work a Saturday. In fact, people say, I don't want a boss. I don't want you micromanaging me. Here's how you don't get micromanaged. I haven't looked at her phone times in 4 months. I was looking at them all the freaking time because they sucked so bad. Now I ain't got to look at them. I mean, I'm looking at the leaderboard. I'm looking at the numbers. I'm looking at the people she's giving me on a daily basis. They're saying, Dad, you have to call this person right now. This guy's good.
Good stuff. That is awesome stuff. Okay. So here we go. First question. Terry, Adam Katz, do you lead by example? People copy what you do more than what you say. How about this one? Here's a statement on example. People will conform. They're less likely to conform to commitment. They're not as likely, like if you're committed, trying to get them conform, but they will follow passion. Think about that. I'm glad you're committed. Are you passionate about it? You with me? Is there passion? Is there a burn showing through? Hey, update them on Emily Katz, Adam. You got to be proud. You're proud of Sarah and Andrew, all of them. Tell me all about them. But of course, I'm liking the one that's killing what we're doing.
Absolutely. Yeah, we are very blessed with our kids. All three of them are high achievers. But Emily, she is just knocking it down. She is tracking Thailand. I think that's going to be so cool to win Thailand and have Emily win Thailand her first year doing this. She's about to graduate from NC State, your alma mater, Sean Boone's alma mater, at 19 years old in May. She'll be 19, graduated. Her goal is to have $50,000 cash in the bank when she graduates so that she can start life. and she's just a machine. She cares what you think. She cares what me and Beth think. Other than that, she don't give a rip, and she'll hang up on people. She'll close the door on people. She will just be like, this ain't going anywhere. I got to go because Mr. Albright taught me I got to do productive things. And so she's had 2 months, 2 of the last 3 months, she's done over 14,000 issue paid. This is while she's a full-time college student, 19 years old. And she's inspiring a lot of other people. And we got a whole gang of young guns coming on. I'm talking 22, 21, 19, 18-year-olds, 20, 25-year-olds, and they're all going to come on, and Emily's going to be that one we can point to. It's just changing things for us.
I want to tell you, I'm glad you brought that up, Adam. She's 19, so we got a 19-year-old daughter, a 25-year-old daughter. Terry, like, is finding those 19, 20, 21, because I've always preached 27. In other words, they got a job, they out of college, had a job for 5 years, they graduated at 22, worked for 5 years, frustrated. But what I'm hearing is people are finding people 19, 20, 21 and getting licensed like that. Licensed, not already licensed, licensed for the first time, insurance license, and then killing it. That is an interesting trend that young that we're starting to find them. And then here's also, Terry, what I'm hearing, and Sean is, and I love y'all that are advertising Index Universal Life. I would just say, of all your young friends, how many of them want to make money, and how many of them are interested in saving money in an insurance strategy? So what if y'all just posted, this is what I'm hearing young people post on their social medias is, I did 10 appointments today. I made $4,000 today. Boom. Leave it. Not no picture of their hiney, not no picture of their bicep, but just a statement about their money. Maybe their smile like, I made $4,000 today. Not selling life insurance, not saving people's rhyme. I just ran appointments and I made this money. In other words, if you got a new person started off the bat, now, hey, now, let me be clear, Adam. I talked to yours about this, and she said, I'm not on social media. I said, well, then don't get on it. I don't want her on social media. But if she hires another, I don't want her on it. But if she hires another, and she said, okay, I won't get on it. You know her. She's just like, okay. Because she asked me, you want me to get on it? I said, no. I just want to, if you are. Because these have 800 people that watch them, or 2,000 people that watch them. And this guy, I found a new gig today, or I found a new gig that I'm running, a new job I'm running, a new deal I'm doing. I ran 10 appointments, picked up 5 checks, made $4,000 today. Just keeping it simple, and then finding other young, crispy, want to make money people that say, what are you doing? And then don't throw up with them on social media. Tell them to direct message you or contact you. And then if they ask, what is it? That's enough to get on the phone with them. If they engage, if they like it, call them. You with me? Just keeping it simple, young people but going after them and getting them through class fast. All right. People are more likely to follow passion than conform to commitment. Are you setting the example? Are you passionate? One of the things I think Tori is seeing, Paul, is she's passionate and she's attracting passionate people. She's crazy and fanatical. She's finding fanatics. Terry, you have, as Terry Edwards, you have got as good a structure, you and Tia, what y'all have got going on, your personal production. I think you issued right at over 30,000. You've got other people copying, and you're getting wide as everything. I mean, your business is just blowing up just like this, like a dead mushroom crowd, man. What has gotten into you, and what are you doing, brother?
Well, Andy, to tell you the truth, man, back in July at the family reunion, I had a lunch, and I was sitting down. You know, eating is one of my favorite things, but I like to eat and listen too. And I had a lunch, and I was listening to Tony Carey, and Tony Carey had to remind me of something. She told me, Terry, you are a bad, and I can't say the rest, but I had to be reminded that I was bad. I was a bad somebody, that I walked in a room and I could change a situation just like that. And that was what I needed to hear, because it allowed me, Andy, to know that I could still be me inside of the bigger dream of the Alliance. So what we immediately did was, we were like, listen, we done been around this company now for 5 years. We've been following Andy. We've been loving hearing Paul Roberts. We love Adam Cat. You know, I love Andy Riddle, his competitive self. But I was like, you know what? It's time for us to break out and show people who we are and what we can do. And we just made up in our minds. So we started hiring. You know, one of the things that we was doing, Andy, was trying to get people to duplicate, and sometimes trying to get people to do something that, you know, they don't want to do it for whatever reason. So what I did was, I said, I'm gonna hire somebody and pay them to duplicate. So come here, y'all. Come here. Come. Hurry up. Look, you see that? That's Yanka, and that's Hannah. We hired additional staff so that, you know what? We pay them to do what we want them to do. So we monitor the activity. We're on the phone nonstop, all day, every day. And one of the things that you were talking about is, don't worry about, I think Paul said, don't worry about the skill. We just had a staff meeting this morning. I was telling Yanka, don't worry about the results. You can't control that, but you can control your diet. You know, we want no less than $300 a week on your book every single week. And so, and then, you know, the other thing is, are you leading by example? I had to set a bigger example, and not for my team, but for me. Because if you are not performing to your maximum capacity, you are lying to yourself. You can lie to anybody, but the worst person that you can lie to is yourself. And I knew that I wasn't giving it my all. So I had to look the man in the mirror and say, look up here, boy, giddy up, let's go. And it wasn't, you know, and leading through distractions. You know, a lot of times people think, I know I look good and everything, but I ain't got it all together. I got stuff popping off in my life every single week. And it's like, despite what is going on in my life, I got to compartmentalize. When it's time to do, I got to do. After I finish doing the do, I'll try to deal with some of that stuff, but a lot of times I'm so tired, I just go to sleep, and the other stuff tends to find out working itself out. And so I got my baby doll right here beside me. She's keeping me on track, and Andy, we find them people, bro. Yes, we find them. We talked to this lady down in Jacksonville, Rose led us to Sebastian out in Lawton, Oklahoma. Sebastian is number 3 issue paid in our agency this month for last month. You know, Mia is still kicking butt and taking names. We got Beth Allen coming on strong. We got a super PAC wall in our office. So when people hit super PAC, we put a big 18 by 24 portrait of them up in the office. Beth called me yesterday talking about well, can I help you and send you the picture that I want you to use? I said, you don't get to choose that. But it's like, then we found this sharp lady down in Rock Hill, South Carolina, Carolyn Perry, fired up out her mind, invested $500 last night in leads at 9:30. When I saw that, the Lord started speaking to me, Andy. And you know, when the Lord started speaking, I got to start doing. The Lord said, if she can do 500, I know you can do some more to help her out. So we got her 150 leads last night. Last night for her, she got 2 licensed people. She gonna get us on the phone tonight with about 15 people that are looking for opportunities, man. So hey, it ain't all work. We get to pause on Monday and go chase some birds, huh? Come on, somebody. So we got people coming into the office more. Thanks to Hannah. She is calling new agents, keeping them engaged, getting them in here. We had a new agent come in, first dial session this week, and book 15 appointments in less than 4 hours. 15 appointments, baby. So that's what we're doing.
That's passion right there, boys and girls. I want you, by the way, you don't want to say them words. You don't want to say them words on television like this, but I need for you to pick up the phone, if you would, and call Sean Boone and just tell him, make sure he knows what he is.
Hey, listen, Andy, this is the thing. You got to remind people, right? I done told him one time. I told Sean Boone, I can say this online. This is what I told Sean Boone. I said, Sean Boone, you are the elite of the elite, baby. You made it to Division I college football. You played on the highest level next to professional. You covered from hash mark to sideline. It was a no-fly zone. And them jokers running 4'4", 444s, 40-yard dashes in 4 seconds, and you hauling them down. But listen, these leagues, these are old people. They can't run that fast. These are mortgage protection. They can't leave their house. They can't run out of bounds and you can't hit them. So you get over there. So I'm going to call Sean Boone after this call is over, and I got a more pointed message. Something more so like Dave Dorn will say in the locker room, and I'm going to light him up like a cheap cigar, baby. So Sean Boone, get your mind right, baby. We need another example like you, man.
Better pick up. Tia, how you control this man?
Hey, Andy.
How you control this man? That's what people ask Gang
Look, Andy, I don't try to control him. Look, I just got a belt. Whenever he's like trying to get calm, I pull my belt out on him, Andy, because I want him to speed up a little bit more. That's for real.
She opened up a can on me.
Yeah. So we just trying to stay ahead of Andy Riddle, honestly, with this recruiting too. Every time I hear his name, I just cringe a little bit.
All right. Are you good at getting people started? So it sounds like almost like a smart ass comment. Are you good at getting people started? There's 3 things that I want to remind you of. People need reasons to do whatever you tell them to do. They need a why. Like, let me tell you why we call these people over and over again. Because they won't pick up the phone. So we have to call them over and over again. But if we keep calling, they're going to pick up. And when they do, that's when we get them. And we dial their number multiple times because when people see a number pop up 3 times in a row, and then next day 3 times, I got a number been calling me. Woo-hoo! I'm gonna pick up one of these days. I know they're trying to sell me something, but I'm gonna have to pick up. Because when people get called over and over again, they start thinking it must be important. Their mind gets curious. But you see, I just gave you a lot of reasons to make a lot of phone calls. You said, what about buying a Ferrari? Okay, that's a good reason too. But they need reasons that we make a bunch of phone calls. They need expectations. If you're impressed when a guy makes 100 phone calls in a day, your expectations are not high. Your expectations are too low. Terry had a person, first dial session, 4 hours of phone calls in a row. 4 hours in a row. That's a decent expectation. Setting the right expectation. The next thing is tools. Anything you can help people with. So if you get them in class, do you show them how to get through the class quick? Do you do a little tutorial with them? Do you help them? So it's reasons, expectations, and tools. You also heard Terry talk about getting a person leads. I want to go to Paul talk about what tools did you give Tori so that she could work to do recruits. So it's, are you good at getting a person started? Are you good at getting a person to do? Yeah, you said, what about dreaming? That's a reason. What about what they hate? That's a reason. But another simple reason is because it works. Paul, what did you do? Anything in particular that you feel like you did with Tori, giving her tools to get started, reasons to get started? I know your expectations. She's your daughter. You expect you just, that's my girl. That's Robert's name.
Yeah, we you got to do everything you just said. You got to give them tools in terms of, I got to give her people to call. I got to invest money to make sure that she's busy dialing. Outside of that, you have to constantly build the dream with her. And then lastly, like you said, the expectations. I expect so much from her. I'm very tough on her. Well, let me give you an example. The other day, I hate excuses. On any level, I hate excuses. Because even if it is an excuse, if you buy into that excuse, you're dead. So she came to me the other day and I said, hey, you're in third place. And she said, yeah, the person above me has 2 recruiters. And I said, sweetie, don't ever buy into that stuff. Let's say they have 4. Does it matter? You can still beat them. Don't ever minimize yourself. Don't ever weaken yourself. You know what? At the end of the day, you can feel good about that little excuse. When you're 65 years old and you broke, you can feel good about, well, that was my excuse. Or you can decide, you know what? I'm going to win. And here's why. You've been beating them the last 3 months. You can still do it. It doesn't matter if they have 3, 4, 5, or 6 people. And dude, she came back. She was mad at me at first. She was huffing and puffing. Wasn't real appreciative of that. She came back the next day and she goes, Dad, you're absolutely right. I was selling myself short. And so when you raise the expectations like that of somebody, you get them to think on a different level. As excuses, you can't have them. Yeah, you can hang your hat on that excuse and satisfy your ego and feel good about it. But does it calculate to winning at the end of the deal? When you're 65, where are you? And so that's a big one. I think also Tori's a lot like some of my agents. If I tell her I'm going to take something, she'll work harder to not lose something. So sometimes I might say, hey, here's this, and you get to keep this if we get this. Like I got this one agent, Jenny, and she hates losing stuff. So I gave her your coin. I gave her your coin. I said, you can keep this coin, but if you don't write $10,000 this weekend, you got to give it back to me. Dude, she was, yeah, that coin right there. And she says she fought so hard that weekend because she did not want to come in Monday morning and hand me that dang coin back. So there's another way you can raise expectations like that. It's just figure out who are you working with? Are they the type of person that hates losing stuff? Are they the type of person that likes gaining stuff? You got to figure out all this stuff. And then you can get anybody to do just a little bit more. And back to what you were saying, Andy, about the 100 dials, you can make someone feel good about the 100 dials, but at the exact same time, get them to realize they got way more in them than 100 dials. And I think that's the trick that we got to figure out is you can make them feel good about it, but at the exact same time say, hey, you know you're worth more than this. And what I love now, Andy, more than ever is the art, is I can pull people's pay up and I can show them their year to date. And all I got to say is, hey, you are worth more than this year to date number. Way more worth this. I'm worth more than this. You're worth more than this. We're all worth more than this. And then again, you start to build those expectations. And that's what I'm doing with Tori is I'm tough, but I love her. And she knows I love her. My agents know I love them, but I can be tough on them at the exact same time and get them to realize there's everybody, including me, including Andy, there's more in every one of us. And if you just kind of wake up every morning trying to impress the hell out of yourself, man, your expectations of what you can do, you're going to look back and laugh. Oh, dude, one more story. So when Tori first started working, no kidding, I said, baby doll, you can put in more. And she says, but Dad, I got to go home and meal prep. She said, I got meal prep. I need this many hours. I need this much time. And I said, honey, one day you're going to look back at what you just told me and laugh your butt off and realize, oh my God, I was lazy. She goes, no, Dad, you don't understand. I got to do this. I got to do that. I got to do this, whatever. Now, like I told you, she's working insane hours. And she does come to me. She goes, oh my God, I really thought, Dad, I needed those extra hours for this, those extra time for this. And she laughs at herself today because of what she expected of herself back then. This is a fun business, man. And it's not just with Tori. We get to do it with everybody. And when that thing flips and they come to you and they say, hey, wow, I do got more in me than I thought I had. Thank you. Thank you for believing there was more in me than the rest of the world. The rest of the world was buying my bullcrap excuse. It's like those stupid on Facebook when someone says something like, please pray for me. And everybody that's responding to that don't give a crap about you. They do not, they are fired up. Your life is jacked up. They are fired up. You are messed up. They are excited that you are beneath them. The people that are shutting up and not saying a word, those are the people you should be calling and saying, hey man, what can I do? How can I improve my life? How can I make my life better? Because those are the people that will tell you, hey, I love you, but quit minimizing your life. There's way, way, way more in your life.
That's the truth.
It's crazy.
Hey, I want to tell you, my leadership, I really got into a long discussion, but talking to a young man, he said, I don't understand how you keep going so much. And I said, there's two places I live. I don't want to go back. That's about 90% of the time. 10% of the time, I want another house. I want another jet. I want to buy my kids a house. I want to buy my mom and my mother, my mother-in-law, and my mother another car, brand new. 10% of the time, I'm dreaming. 90% of the time, I'm mad because I don't want to go back. Fear of going back. Hate of going back. People say, how many times do you just like where you are? Yeah, I'm just not much. I don't know. I'm happy. Going to look at some multi-million-dollar homes as soon as we hang up. I'm going to take Paul and say, hey, let's go look at some multi-million-dollar homes. I'm thinking about the future, and I ain't going back. So really, it's either I've said this all for the last 30 years of my life, building business. Either build it happy or build it mad. I can't imagine winning a football game, Sean, happy because you're on the field and you got the jersey on. Well, I'm just happy to be here in front of 54,000 people. I don't want to go back to the life I had. I want to win a championship. I don't want my mom and dad to live like they live. I don't want them to have to go back. I want to make $1 million. I want to win a championship. Very seldom. I thought more about this than I did this. But thinking about where I am, it's just not, I'm scared. Call me a warrior, call me a dreamer, call me a doer, but don't call me stationary. I just can't, that just, because you shouldn't worry with the money you got. You shouldn't worry with the team you got. You worry about your worry, I worry about my worry. You might ought to worry more and quit worrying about me as I'm worried. I just hate to see you worried. My dad tell me all the time. He say, like, I just worry, boy, I just can't help it. My dad was also a worker. I want to work. I want to be feared of it. People say, well, no fear. I fear going back. I fear being broke again. I couldn't handle it. I talk to people, I'm like, how do you do it? How do you manage your finances? They would arrest me. They take I would be homeless. I would start walking to Miami where it's warm. I'm going to be homeless. I'll be up north. And then I think, I don't want to be homeless. I'm going to go back to work. I'll make more phone calls. It's that fight in my head. And so if I can get that in a few more people's head, that fight of being mad. Last thing, speed. What creates speed? If you get a person, if you connect with a person, who they are, what they've done. You remember that call we did with some of your guys? Was it your guys, Paul, or it might have been Davies people? I was telling them, find out something that, like what Jason Mathis has done, and then lever him against it. Find out what Olga has done and lever her against it. You build trust by finding out about people, who they are, and listening to them. And then translate that into an expectation of speed. So you transfer that connection into urgency for speed. So what I'll do is like I think the world of Adam Katz, and then I think the world of his daughter Emily. I transfer my relationship with her is an expectation of speed. Same thing with Sean Boone. Same thing with anybody, is transferring the trust to speed and expectation, connecting with them. The other thing is, if you can find some good stuff about people and compliment them, it builds a guilt. I don't want to embarrass. I want to respect. I want to do what's right in the person. As you compliment and you see good things about people, it turns into a pressure to perform. Or if I think about John Maxwell, so John Maxwell likes me. I just remembered Nito Cobain is the president of High Point University. I didn't send him an email. He was he connected me on social media and said, hey, let's connect. He thinks good of me. That transfers in a guilt that I must perform. I'll tell you this, Sean, I lost a guy. I got him going. I'm trying to get him back, but it had him going up. His life was going up. He's going up. And he started thinking that I didn't like him. It's not true. But then his demand on himself to perform went way down because he thinks I don't like him, which is not true. I think he's a great guy. I think he's underperforming because he was going like this, and then his business started going like that. And it's based on him thinking that I don't like him or that I don't trust him. And he said, well, you shouldn't trust him. He stopped working. I'm the most anybody ask you, I'm the most forgetful human being it is when I remember. My wife tell you about, she's like, you know, he screwed you, you know, he stole money. I don't remember that. You said, well, how do you not remember that? I said, I don't know. I just don't remember. Here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that guy could write $30,000 a month. That's what I'm thinking about. I have a high expectation of people, not a distrust, but he's interpreted as a distrust. That makes sense. So fear, if you can get people feared, you create urgency. So urgency is birthed from fear. So people don't think that they can get sick, health insurance won't cover it, and they can't write a check and they're going to die. That's the way I see it. I want to be able to go to Europe, to go to Mexico, go to Brazil, and have some kind of special treatment if I get sick. I want enough money and enough to write a check for my wife and my children or my brother or something like that. You say, what about my cousin? I don't know your cousin. I don't know how to introduce them either. I don't have that much money. That makes it's like it's a fear of mine. Like I've talked about being old in a rest home. And you know, and I know people that they put their parents or somebody in a rest home and it just smells like old people pee. No, it ain't like fresh puppy pee, it's like old people pee. I don't like that. I have a fear of that. I want a biscuit or something and they bring me something nasty. I want to figure out how to set up trust to take care of me. I don't. Some mean old ugly woman wiping my butt. Somebody young, exciting, and positive, encouraging. Fear. Like people think they don't die, don't want to buy life insurance. I'm positive I'm going to die. I got a ton of life insurance. Think about buying more. Don't text me. I'll sell it to you. You dadgum get on the phone, call some of them people you don't know, and them dadgum leaves. I hope I got it right before they texted me, not right after they text me. I'm positive I'm going to die. Does that make sense? I'm feared I'm going to die. I think it could happen anytime. I could lose everything I got. Therefore, I'm going to make a few more calls. I'm going to strategize a little bit more. Fear, urgency. Finding something good in people. If you think about this, if you can find something good about them and get them scared, but that's me. I got something good about me. What's the best thing you think about you, Andy? I know this. I'll get back on a horse. I'll try again. I'll start the diet all over again. I'll start the phone calls all over again. I'll call you back. Give you another shot. I'm gonna take another shot, guy. What do you think's the best thing about you, Olga? Jason, I'm gonna give you a minute to think because I know you're gonna need a minute to think.
Well, what I think when I see best thing about me is that I want to grow, and the opportunity that I have with the Alliance is so amazing that I'm fired up and excited that when I go out and I see all these people and they don't think about the future, and I see myself and my family criticize me because they said that I'm working a lot. I said, see, Megan Wood, she really works more than me. So it's crazy. So what I think about me is that even at my age, I want to grow more, and I want to help more families, and I want to do so much, and to see that I am in this call with you guys, with Paul Roberts, Adam Katz, and Terry and Tia. And I said, what? That is me in this call when 7 years ago, I couldn't even make a phone call. It's amazing that no matter what age you are, you can change your life if you want to.
I think the best thing about you is you bring the energy. You just bring the energy every time. I wonder if you and you were loading up them baggages, those luggage, if you had as much energy. Like people be like, calm down, we're just loading luggage. I bet you were screaming, get them in here, let me get these people moving.
I was happy all the time, excited.
Jason, what do you think is the best thing about you?
The best thing about me is sitting
Don't
right.
say Olga. Don't say Olga. I knew that was coming. I see that coming a mile away.
I'm grateful, Andy. My gratefulness. I'm super grateful that the Alliance has picked me up off the scrap heap, Q-Bland USA corporate America. Grateful that Terry and Tia picked up that Craigslist ad. Grateful that Andy Riddle keeps working. It's grateful that Andy Riddle keeps growing. Grateful we put a Craigslist ad and found Pedro Santos, who quit and did a bunch of crazy stuff. Found Janine. I was telling you this morning when we talked this morning, I'd take one of those situations every day if that's all it cost us. You know what I mean? And Chris Long and Brant Swindell and Gary Philistine, and you know, just everything the Alliance has done for my family financially, and I'm super grateful.
I think your best thing about you is same thing I think is the best thing about me. You will start over again. You'll be like, I can just see in your head, shaking your head like, all right, I guess I'll try it again.
But get it right.
You know, you look at people and you go like, what's the best thing about them? You know, Sean's love for his parents, Paul Roberts' love for his family, and Adam Katz, how much he just sticks with me, and Terry and his level-headedness, and Tia and her optimism. Everybody find something that's real. Like let me tell you, it's not, you know, and I'll joke about this is I go like, man, you tall, we can't teach tall. Anybody can see a person's tall. Can you find something else about them and then leverage that? Because they need something to find about themselves and leverage it. If they got something and you got something different, well, that's two things that people can use. Hey, people, look, this thing's getting crazy. More success, more duplication, get one more person. Monday, we booked 20 phone calls for Tuesday and Wednesday. Thursday, we booked 20 phone calls for Friday and Saturday. Well, I'm going to take it one further than that, Andy. Whoa. I don't need one further. Let's do that. You want to go one further? On Monday, book 26 appointments, and on Thursday, book 27 appointments. You with me? Don't try to and people add to and take away. I'm like, bro, let's try to copy. Let's try to nail this, and let's kill this week. September's going to be a massive month. Can't wait to see many people hit that magical 100,000 issue paid. But how many people have a issue paid $10,000 week? So let's do them agency managers one more time. Let me give those numbers out. Where'd she go? Here we go. Mike and Kate Marisi, Brandon and Haley Manley. Everybody know that's my daughter, right? Haley, married to Brandon, agency managers. Marvin and Rachel Osuna. otherwise known as the Prophet. The Prophet. Jeremico Edwards. That boy, I'm going to tell you what, he's just come alive. He's such a good, great talker and worker. And Evan Patzer, from being down and out and frustrated with who his life and where his life was going, to just doing a U-turn and getting his butt back home. And now he is an agency manager qualified with the Alliance. Y'all saw his boy Fawcett. Fawcett issued, paid some annuities. He's getting some people. Hey, listen. He's figured out a way to do these 3 questions and get some people to copy him. How do you get them to copy? How do you get them to duplicate? Guys, we're going to check out some multi-million-dollar homes and do some dreaming. Love y'all. Thank y'all so much for plugging in here. And there's a couple other people I invited on. I hope they see this. I want to talk to them soon. Love y'all. Thank y'all so much. Have a great day. Let's kill it. September going to be big for the Alliance. Extreme manager bonus. Let's get that money.